is Eman Booze. Now, Ole Smoky just came out with their Charred Moonshine a couple of weeks ago, and it's just starting to filter its way in throughout the states. Now, they only got 3,000 cases of it available this year. There'll be more next year, but with 36,000 bottles of this here, it's not on the super rare side, but it's still going to be kind of tough to get yourself a hold of a bottle. So if you can do it, you might want to grab it when you see it. Now, what is it? Well, it's basically like a moonshine that's been aged in used bourbon oak barrels. Now, I talked to Justin King. He's a master distiller over there, and he filled me in with what they're doing here with this whiskey. And he's very proud of it, and I don't blame him. But here's what he told me. Let me get my notes here to make sure I ain't telling you no tall tales. Okay, first of all, you know we've reviewed the original moonshine here from Ole Smoky on YouTube a couple of weeks back, so go check that review out. But when he makes this here moonshine, he don't use the same mash bill. Meaning he don't use exactly the same ingredient list to make the base moonshine spirit. He's got a different mash bill. Alright? Then, after he gets that moonshine made, it goes into a barrel. It's aged for less than 2 years. And it's classified as a spirit whiskey. Which, if you read the federal definition of what spirit whiskey is, I don't even understand what the hell it is. It don't even make no sense to me. But it has something to do with you got to add a little small amount of grain neutral spirit in there. Something about less than 5%. And I don't know. These federal regulations here. So despite what it say on the label, just know this. Know that it's basically a moonshine that's aged, and when it's proofed down, instead of all water going in there, there's a certain small percentage, less than 5% of grain neutral spirit that's added in there so that you can call spirit whiskey, blah, 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 blah. Alright, now, in any event, let's get into the spirit so that we can really talk about what's most important. Alright, now, you know if I try to pour this here into this here glass, and most of the time for moonshines, I just drink it straight out of the bottle. But we do need to smell it and take our time with it because it's an aged spirit. So we're going to put the gizmo on here, and that way we can get a little bit in the glass. Let's do that here. Get the old gizmo on here. Alright, now let's get a little bit in the glass. Alright. Oh, I wanted to tell you, this here's a big boy here. This charred moonshine. 52.5% alcohol by volume, or 105 proof. That's what I'm talking about right there. Let's give a nose. No, before we give it a nose, let's give it a look. Got decent color for less than 2 years of age in barrels. So that's a good thing there, and it is very clear. So I'm encouraged so far. Let's get it swirling around in the glass here. Get it to open up a little bit, because with all your aged whiskeys, you really want to let them open up some. You know, air does wonders for these things after a couple of minutes. And they'll change in the glass on you too. Let's give her a nose. Hot damn. Smell just like moonshine. Like the backwoods corn moonshine. With the addition of the barrel tones that you get that are so prevalent in your bourbons and your ryes. They're a little more subtle, like the moonshine come out a little bit more forward than the barrel tones. But the barrel tones are in there, don't be mistaken. So you get into things like the vanilla and the caramel and the nutty tones and the licorice notes, all the things that the wood from the used bourbon barrels does when it permeates the spirit. Nose is real nice here. Big on that anise note also. I like that. That's coming off the wood. The corn note though. Whew. This here's got some serious aroma going on here. Let's give her a taste and see what we think. That's a big boy now. Better hold on to your shoelaces on this one. It ain't so hot that it kills you, but it is a big boy here. This is a sippin'. This is a slow sippin' whiskey here. I tell you though, you get all the moonshine notes, and that's what I like about it, because it do remind me a lot of the backwoods moonshine. You know, the corn notes and everything that I love so much for a moonshine. It's got that in there. There's some other grains in there. And Ole Smoky, very tight-lipped with what's in the mash bill, so you can't figure out everything that's in there. You don't get no percentages and what grains, and, you know, they're tight-lipped about it, but hey, I don't blame them. They got a very successful operation, and they're not going to spill all the beans and let everybody know how they're making this stuff. But it do have the backwoods flavor of the moonshine. Then, when you swallow, on the back of the palate, on the finish, you get the wood tones of the bourbon, the used bourbon barrels. Now, he did tell me, I asked him, where are you getting the bourbon barrels from? Of course he wouldn't tell me. You knew that was coming. But he did say he is getting it from Kentucky. And they are used bourbon barrels. And they are the 53-gallon barrels. That's a standard barrel size in Kentucky for the major producers of bourbon. So we know kind of like what's going on, but we don't. But that's a good thing. Sometimes little mystery is what makes the product a little bit more enticing. Let's give another shot on the palate here. You know, there's a natural sweetness there that come off the corn that I really just noticed there. The spiciness of the grain, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some rye in here, because I'm picking up them high tones and them spice tones, kind of like, almost like clove, like a little bit of a clove and cinnamon note in there. You get the vanilla for sure, and you get the caramel tones that are so prevalent with aged bourbons. But the corn there, it's a very unique tasting aged moonshine. You don't find too many of these out there, and when you do, and I think maybe I've only reviewed one other aged whiskey, and that'd be Broad Slab Distillery's Reserve Moonshine. But that tastes totally different than that. That's on a totally different kind of spirit. This is unique. Broad Slabs is unique. They both make dynamite aged moonshines, and I like this here, Ole Smoky. This is a sipper though. This is a slow sipper. Enjoy it. Now, I saw a couple of good cocktail recipes. They just tweeted one out today that looks really neat. And I'm sure if I got this over to my friend Natalie at Beautiful Booze, she could figure out something what to do with it. Me, I don't make the cocktails too much. I drink the stuff straight. But once in a while I have a cocktail. But you know, it's all good. Whatever floats your boat. Ole Smoky doing a good thing here with this charred moonshine, and we're going to look for it every year when it comes out. And I encourage you, give it a whirl, because it is a very, very meritorious spirit. It's got a lot of merit. It harkens back to the roots of back in the day when the moonshiners back in the woods occasionally took some of the moonshine and threw it in the barrel for a little bit of time and let it pick up the barrel notes to create an aged spirit. And I think it's wonderful, and I love that they brought it out. And I can't say much more about it, but go online to olesmoky.com. Check out all the different moonshines they have. If you're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, visit them. They're the most visited craft distillery in the country. They put on a great show. They got a wonderful store, a great website, lots of great flavors, and they got the whole package as far as craft spirits are concerned. On that note, I'm Eman Booze. Check me out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I write the Distillery of the Month column for MainStreetDistilleries.com. Check out Ole Smoky. Bye, you all!